opened up the door. I grabbed my 44 because my 44 was on my lap. I grabbed my 44. I turned, and this damn thing had my wife by the arm and was dragging her down this dirt road. Yeah.
It's too much.
Wow. So when you say it's been real crazy, can you give us a little bit of insight what we're talking about here? Because y'all have had a lot. We were just talking about the experience during one live that you did. So just give us a little bit of
give you a little taste.
Yeah.
Okay. A few months back, I did a live on the Cryptid podcast, and where I did the live it was on my hunting grounds. Okay. And my hunting grounds is about a half hour away from where I had my very first Dogman encounter, and the place where I had shot the Dogman in the back 4 times for attacking my wife. So I did the podcast live. I'm a hunting, area, and then my wife was with me, sitting in my truck, and we actually had 3 Dogman around my truck. I had one on the back of my truck, and I had 2, possibly 3, like in front of my truck, as we were doing this live podcast, and the people that was on chat, they actually saw the red eyes, and so did Daniel Hamilton, the host of Cryptid podcast. They saw the red eyes behind my truck, and I had stepped out of the truck, before all this happened, and everybody seen something in front of me and my truck. I was walking in the woods on all 4s, and it was that. I mean, people, people witnessed a lot of stuff on this live. I think Pam was there too. I'm not sure. I don't know if Pam saw the live. I think she was on the live chat too. I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, and so then after all that happened, we went home, and then a couple days after that, I had animal control when you pull up in front of my house. Me and my wife having coffee. It was a morning, and animal control came up to my house, and I'm thinking, what are these guys doing here, right? Because we got dachshunds, but they have licenses, and so I know my dogs are legal, so he just came out of the truck, and he just flat out asked me. Never asked my name or anything. He says, "Are you Swapdogg?" I looked at my wife looked at me, and my mind thought, "Oh, something's up." So I said, "Yes." I said, "How can I help you?" Then he said he wanted to talk to me. And I said, "What's this about?" And he says, "There's some stuff's been going on in the area, and that he needs to talk to me about that. I may know something about it, or I might be able to help them with something." So I said, "Help who?" And that's when he was telling me, about the game warden. They were doing something that day, and I'm like, "Okay." So we're talking, and I was telling him a little bit of what's going on with me, and see, like I was telling other people that's on the podcast, that's when I learned that when you do a podcast,
Mhm.
you got your government that's watching, they're listening. Well, we walked on the property, and he was telling me a little bit about it. And we walked on the backside of his farm, and there was a dead horse, um, had a broken neck, and he was split open from from the bottom of his neck all the way down to his privates. He was just split open.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, your guts was hanging out, all of his internals hanging out, but nothing was eaten. There was no signs of anything eating this horse. It was just like it was like you were just slaughtered, like for no reason whatsoever, because nothing was eating it. Like no like no coyotes, no fox, no nothing. So they're taking pictures of this horse. The game warden was there. Animal control introduced me to the game warden, and we were talking, and I guess the guy was like, "I don't know what could have done this," and I looked at the guy from animal control, and I says, "I know what did this." I says, "And I'm pretty sure you guys know what did this too." And I was trying to get them to say, Bigfoot or Dogman, but they never would say that. I mean, they would never. Their words didn't come out of their mouth. I'm the only one that mentioned it. So, and so then I'm looking around the horse, I'm looking for tracks. I'm looking at the wood line because there's, there's wood back there. I'm going into the wood lines, walking around. Guy from game warden and the animal control walked in there with me, and I'm looking for footprints. I'm looking for broken branches. I'm looking for anything that I could see that would walk through there that would make a trail. I really didn't see anything. Like, we didn't see any tracks either, which is kind of strange. And then after that, we walked to the house down the street, and I said, "What happened over there?" He said, "You'll see." Well, when I got over there, there was an old guy. He was, um, burying his dog. Apparently, something had ripped the right hind leg off the dog,
Wow.
and the older gentleman found the dog dead. And then talking to him, and they wanted to bury the dog before the granddaughter, because they didn't want the granddaughter to see the dog. But they had taken pictures, and they showed me pictures of this dog, and it was the hind right leg was ripped off of him. That kind of upset me because me and my wife were both animal lovers, and we're dog lovers. I mean, there's not a dog that I don't love. I can see a dog walking down the side of the road, and I'm like, I want him. That's how we are with dogs. But and then I'm looking around there. Same thing with the horse. Looking around, looking for tracks, looking for signs, nothing. So then I thought we were done. And then apparently we wasn't done. He says, "I got to show you one more thing." So then I followed the game warden and animal control over to my hunt spot where I did my live with Daniel Hamilton.
Mhm.
And I said, "What we're doing here is this." As we're walking to where at the scene, apparently there was a guy riding his e-bike, one of them electric bikes, coming through the trails back there, and he had come across the head of a buck,
Hmm.
No body, just the head of the buck.
Wow.
I'm walking up now where this buck is. If I look to my right, I don't know, about 100 yards, I could see my deer stand because I never take it down. I mean, I always leave it up that way, But I could see my deer stand, and I'm thinking that's kind of too close to comfort. So I'm looking at head of the buck, holding it. I'm moving it. I'm looking around. This thing's head wasn't cut. Whatever did this ripped the head up the deer's body. You know what I mean? Just like ripped it. So so there were there were three other game wardens over there. They were making a report, and they were taking pictures. One of them was walking around the head, doing 30 yards at a time, going out 30, going out another 30, because they were trying to find the body of this buck, and they never could find the body.
Hmm.
So, and I know that, you went to do that. If I wanted to do something like that, I would have to get a saw and cut the deer's head off the body. This thing was, I mean, you can tell it was like something ripped it off. You know what I mean? It was a hard. I mean, that was nasty.
Hey, this is one of those subjects where, there's no pretty side to it. It is definitely for
There's nothing pretty about a dog, man. Nothing.
no.
Nothing.
Um, so let me ask you this: what is your gut feeling about? Obviously, these are apex predators, but tell me what you feel when it comes to the dog man. The truth about the dog man. Is it flesh and blood? Do you think that it's some kind of genetic experiment? What's your thoughts?
Well, as far as it's hard to say because when I shot at this dog man 4 times in the back, when I grabbed my wife and was dragging my wife down that dirt road, and I shot him from 5 feet away with a 44, and I never seen any blood. I hunted bears, I hunted deer, I had shot, coyotes, and every time I shot something when I was hunting, whether it was with a gun or a bow, I always seen blood. I shot this thing 4 times in the back with a 44, 5 feet away. Never seen a drop of blood. Never seen a drop of blood. I told Daryl Denton. I don't know if you know Daryl Denton.
Yeah.
Told him. I told Josh from Mystery Unknown. He's the one that I talked to first about all this encounter. I talked to Daniel Hamilton. I talked to Tom Franklin. I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people from California. I talked to people from Alaska. And I tell them I never saw a drop of blood when I shot this thing. And I was on a podcast the other day with a new friend. Her name is Jennifer Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
She started Creepy Culture, and she mentioned something to me that nobody has ever mentioned. When this dog man was dragging my wife, and I shot him 4 times in the back, my wife didn't even have a drop of blood on her. You would figure if it's like you're dragging my wife like with his left arm,
Mhm.
and I shot him in the back. You would figure if there was any blood splatter, my wife would have blood on her. My wife never had a drop of blood on her. So as far as flesh and blood, I used to think, yeah, this is my first encounter. But then when I shot it and I didn't see no blood, that's the question. I don't know. I can't tell you that because I didn't see no blood.
I think that's the first time I've ever had anybody say that before that I remember.
Yeah. I mean,
So I made note of that because that's a significant twist to the story. So
when people
without
ask me if it's flesh and blood, I can't answer that because I never had a problem with Bigfoot. Since 1989, I've been having encounters, me and my wife, for the past like 2, 3 years before this Dogman encounter happened. We used to gift, well, your 3 males in my hunting area where I'm talking about where I did this live because I've been hunting there for 5 years. So me and her, we were gifting them and they were gifting us. So we were actually having a relationship with these 3 males. One was 8 foot, and then the other two they were like 7.5 foot tall. But since all this been going on with this Dogman deal, and I mean with the horse being killed and all that stuff, I've been going in and out of the woods every other day, and I have had no signs or I haven't seen anything like with these 3 guys. I mean, my guys that that we've been gifting for, I mean, for all them years, I mean, for 2, 3 years. I haven't had no signs of them. So I don't know if they had left. I don't know if they migrate. I don't know. But I haven't seen my guys. And I mean, I call them my guys because we were like right actually having yeah, like I mean, we'll leave like your food on this one special log, and they used to leave rabbits on my hood, or 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 sticks or something. Like I mean, they'll leave something on my hood of my truck or on the bed of my truck. This is. But then since Dogman stuff has been going on, I haven't seen my guys. So I call them my guys.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting because that seems to be the community seems to be very divided about whether Bigfoot and Dogman are what the relationship, if there is one, between each other. Because in the case of Martin Grove,
Yeah.
Music and cops don't mix.
Right.
They're two different people. Okay, so Martin Grove, he distinctly said that there were Bigfoot and Dogman together.
Mm-hmm.
However, there also have been reports in certain areas of Bigfoot and Dogman actually confronting each other in not very nice ways.
Right.
So it's very interesting trying to sort out, and I understand that in different places in the country, Bigfoot have different cultures. They have different things going on.
Yeah.
But the relationship between the two is very confusing to me.
Yeah, it is to me too.
Regionally, it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm between the LBL and East Tennessee, it's very concerning to me as to what the relationship is here between the two because I'm literally right in between two hot spots.
Right.
I would really like to know that. But so before we go much farther, I would like to encourage you guys, if you have made it this far into the show, which I hope you have, and you're watching this later, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give me a comment about what you think. What do you think about the dog man? Is it flesh and blood? Is it something else? Or what do you think about the relationship between Bigfoot and the dog man? So, Swamp Dog, let me ask you this because you've hinted and we've talked about loosely talked about the story of what happened to your wife. Can you elaborate just a little bit on that? I know it's probably traumatic to go deep into, so just give me the surface story of that, maybe the synopsis.
And I'm getting ready to come around the bend, and I made a complete stop because the cemetery, there was something climbing over the iron fence. I climbed over the fence and started walking across the street in front of my truck on all fours. And it was so big that I actually thought it was a grizzly. That's how big it was.
Jeez.
And then I'm saying, now, mind you, I'm a hunter. I hunted all over Jersey, all over Pennsylvania. I know there's no grizzlies in Jersey. I mean, we occasionally have black bears in the area. Never nothing that big. So in my mind, I'm dumbfounded. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm stopped in my truck and I'm looking at this thing. I'm thinking, there's no grizzlies in Jersey. What the hell? Unless something got loose. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know. So when it crossed the road in front of me, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like you mean I couldn't believe what I'm watching. And when I crossed the road and I went to the next property, it was like a field. I I had my truck in drive and I'm following it right because I had my off road lights on, and I'm following this thing with my truck, keeping all my lights on it because I don't know what the hell this thing is because it was that big. So I'm looking at it, and I stop, and this thing stands up. When it stands up and looks at me, my whole world stopped because, like I was telling you, I never did believe a dogman or anything like that. Like 20, 22 yards with a bow, and you know what I mean, on the ground. You know what I'm saying? This thing here scared the hell out of me. I mean, it really messed me up when I first encountered this first one. And I'm looking at it and I got my lights on it and it's like a baseball field. I got this thing like lit up. I could see everything on this creature. He took one step towards me. And when he took that step towards me, I said to myself, I'm a dead man. I'm going to die tonight. I'm going to die. Somebody's going to find my truck and all my fishing equipment, and they're never going to find me. So that's the first, when it took that first step towards me, that's what I thought. Because I was like, I couldn't move any parts of my body. Couldn't move anything. I still had the truck in drive, and I couldn't even move my legs to press the gas pedal to move. You know, to get out of that area. So when it took the one step towards me, I heard another one on my left, and it made it howl. And when it howled, the one in front of me stopped, looked over towards the howl, looked at me, and then like it took off and went into the wood line towards the other one with her house. I didn't see the other one. I heard it, but I didn't see it. And I believe if that thing didn't howl to get its attention, I still believe to this day I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be a 4-4. I'd be a 411 deal. You know what I mean? With Dave Pilates. That's what I know. I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. I truly believe that the one that I encountered had the head of a hyena. And he had amber eyes, and he had like a lion's mane. You know what I mean? Like you mean around the neck. You know what I mean? From shoulder to shoulder, and a little bit going down his back, but had a mane like a lion. And the weird part about this thing, you know how everybody talks about, well, not everybody, but some people, they talk about it has, dog legs, you know what I mean? Like, the bent backward legs. Well, this didn't have that. This thing had like normal legs, like a human being. I didn't see the feet. And the reason why I didn't see the feet was because the grass on that property was about a foot and a half tall. I couldn't see the feet, but the legs had human legs, and the arms and hands were human. Because the hands were like my hands, but like you maybe twice as big as my hands. And I saw it real good because I was like only 20 yards away from it. He spent before I seen him there, he was there, I guess, the day before with his wife. He's walking around the area, and he tells me that he's seen where something's been walking alongside of the cemetery in the woods. He can see like your claw marks, like 12 or 13 feet up on a tree. And when he seen that, he knew that there's something in the area, because you can actually see the claw marks on the tree, like you're something walking by and just, you know what I mean, maybe slapping a tree or you know what I mean? But you can actually see something, you know what I mean, about 10, 12 feet up on a tree alongside, and you can actually see like a path where this thing's walking through, or whatever's walking through there. So a couple of days later, it's like me. He spent the night out there, a couple hours a night. He calls me up. He said he didn't see anything. All right. So I went through there one night. I was by myself, and I just wanted to see. You know what I mean? I went there. I went in my truck, and you know what I mean? When I drive in that area, I'm only doing 20, 25 mile an hour because of all the deer, all the critters walking across the street and stuff. I don't want to hit nothing. Because I had to hit a deer one time out there. And every time I drive in that area, I'm doing like 20, 25. So what happened was, coming up to the same cemetery, I'm coming around the bend, over this little bitty bridge. You know what I mean? They have a little bridge for, I guess, a little canal. Coming up, I had all my off-road lights on. I had the whole road blare, and this thing was standing on a dirt road, on the edge of the dirt road and the blacktop. When I drove by it, I knew it was the same one that I had my first encounter with. My passenger mirror was only about a foot away from it as I went by it.
Oh, wow.
My heart started pounding. I'm sweating. I'm pouring sweating. I made a U-turn at the end of the cemetery. I come back. And I'm driving by this thing, and I was doing about, I don't know, 15, 20 mile an hour as I'm driving by this thing, and I'm looking at it, and our eyes locked. When our eyes locked, I mean, he didn't move, he didn't growl, he didn't do anything. All he did was looked at me like this, and he's looking at me as I'm going by like this. You know what I mean? As I'm driving by. And I'm looking, I'm not even looking in front of my truck. I don't even know. I'm just looking at it. And then I gunned it. And when I gunned it, I called to Josh. I called Daniel Hamilton. And then I called Daryl. Well, that night, Daryl was on his way back from Tennessee. No, 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 no. No. I think he was on his way to Tennessee. Yeah. So, and I'm excited. I said, yo, I see this thing again. It's the same one. I know it's the same one. I mean, it's him. And Dad was like, calm down, calm down. Just tell me what happened. And I told him. I told Josh the same thing. I told Daniel. And so then Daryl said, look, oh no, wait a minute. He wasn't on his way to Tennessee. They were planning on going to Tennessee. So when I got home, Daryl called me the next morning, and he said that he's going back out there again that night, and to see if he can see this creature. And I says, I'm not going that night. I told you I don't go out there at night. You know what I mean? I'm not parking out there at nighttime and getting out of the truck, walking around. I'm not looking for this thing. So he did. So he was there for about 3-4 hours. He told me, he calls me as he's leaving the area. He said he didn't see anything, but he can hear the house in the distance. I said, all right. And then he tells me, look, I'm going to Tennessee. I'm going to go meet up with some family. On the way back, I'm going to call you so we can meet up and do some more research in that area, even if it's during the day. Because at that time, he knew I wasn't going out there like at nighttime. I wasn't doing it. I mean, I by myself. I mean, I wasn't going to walk through the woods at nighttime. I wasn't doing it. So he went to Tennessee, and what was it, about a week later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had texted me, I'm on my way home. I'm leaving Tennessee. I'll be home by tomorrow. I'll call you. So, okay. Well, this one here, she got all interested, and she wanted to see this thing. Says, I'm not going there at night. Well, she had a camera and everything, and she wanted to go there, and she wanted to take pictures of this thing if it ever came out. And I'm like, no, we ain't doing that. Me, stupid, I ended up listening to her, and we ended up going over there that night. What happened was, she sit on the passenger side, and she didn't want to sit on the passenger side because it was up against the wood line. So I said, all right. So she wanted to switch spots with me. So she sat on the driver's side. I went on the passenger side. We sat there a few hours, right? And we didn't hear nothing. We didn't see nothing. I usually see coyotes. I usually see deer. I usually, you know what I mean? We
Mm-hmm.
see no life whatsoever. Me being a deer hunter and always in the woods, I should have known. When the woods is quiet, there's something in there. You know what I mean? It's a predator. You know what I mean? There's something in there. I'm on the phone on YouTube. I'm looking at different things and not paying attention. windows are down, sitting there, but 3 or 4 hours, nothing. So she finally said, "Listen, I gotta go pee." And I'm like, "Well, the nearest store is a half hour away from from my area, from where I was." I says, just go like in the back of the truck and go pee. Right? 'Cause there's nobody. So all of a sudden she starts to scream. I mean, screaming bloody murder. I didn't even look in the mirror. I opened up the door. I grabbed my 44 because my 44 was on my lap. I grabbed my 44. I turned, and this damn thing had my wife by the arm and was dragging her down this dirt road.
Mm.
And I shot it. I didn't even think twice. I just shot this thing. I shot it 4 times. The first 2 times when I shot it, it didn't even flinch. The third time I shot it, it flinched just a little bit. But see, as I'm shooting it, I think I shot it from like the bottom of its back, and I'm working my way up. But that's how I'm shooting it. You know what I mean? The fourth time I shot it, that's when like it let her go, and it screamed like a freight train, and it ran into the woods like a freight train. I could actually hear the trees and the branches break, and this thing's going through the woods. I mean, it's screaming. So I'm not paying too much attention to it. I'm grabbing my wife, and I threw her back in the truck, and I took off. As I took off, I had to make a U-turn to get out of there. Because at the end of that dirt road, it's a dead end. So I had to make a U-turn. I got out of there. As I'm making the U-turn, I could hear this thing going in the woods. It's like I'm telling you, it was like a freight train going through the woods, yelling, howling. I could actually hear shit, but break in the woods like branches. I don't know if it knocked over trees. I don't know because I didn't see none of that. I just hear it. So my wife's arm from her shoulder here all the way to her elbow was all black and blue. And she couldn't move her arm. So I'm thinking that she had a broken arm. So we went to the emergency room and see, this is the funny part because when you go to the emergency room and your arm is actually, black and blue from the shoulder to the elbow, how you explain that to the doctors and to the nurses what happened? I mean, you can't just say, "Hey, a creature attacked my wife." You know what I mean? So we didn't know what to say, and we were kind of dumbfounded at the hospital, right? Because the nurse kept asking us what happened. I mean, her arm was messed up; it was black and blue.
They thought that you beat me up.
And yeah, and so what I mean, after a while, then the doctor's looking at me like I'm a wife abuser. You know what I mean? And so but dude, she said something like you fell or something like that. You said, and they're looking at us like like they didn't believe us. But anyway, they did X-rays on her and all that stuff, and she had nothing broke. But she was really, really bruised up, and you were bruised up what for about 2 weeks, about 3 weeks, almost a month. My wife was bruised up.
Black and blue.
Yeah, and so the next day, I called Daryl. He's on his way down, and I said, "Yo, you ain't gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this." He said, "What happened?" Because he heard it in my voice. I said, "I shot the damn thing 4 times." He said, "What?" I said, "I shot him 4 times." I told him what happened to Tammy, and he was more concerned with Tammy than what happened. I could always I mean, Daryl's a good guy, and I told him exactly what happened and all that stuff, and he was like, "Well, look, I'm on my way back from Tennessee, and when I get back, I'll call you." But like, he got back, and he let me know he was back, but we never did look for this thing. I don't believe I killed it. Daryl believes I killed it. Okay.
So honestly, I'm starting to wonder, and I'm not sure how to test this hypothesis yet or not, but I'm starting to wonder if it's not one or two things or both when it comes to cryptids and cemeteries. So you have to think about the fact that there's a lot of emotion attached to cemeteries. Obviously, when people go there, they're very distraught during the burial. They're very distraught sometimes when they go there, especially in the early days of the grieving process. So there's a lot of emotion there. And that can linger for God only knows how long. So in the case of abandoned cemeteries, then it's very possible, and still when people go to find an abandoned cemetery, there's a heavy sense of awe with a lot of people, a heavy sense of, humanity. Some people are a little weird. They like the historical value. So it brings out excitement. Oh, I found all this history. So there's great emotion attached to cemeteries, human emotion. So there's that aspect. But there's also the one key element that I'm surprised nobody has ever considered before. People visit visit a cemetery. What do they leave behind? Their smell.
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, that's a simple one. That's one that, like, I've never heard anybody articulate, and I keep going, come on, hunters. You guys haven't thought of this yet?
Yeah.
All of these people that go traipsing through a cemetery, they leave their scent. The scent is heavy. They leave too much evidence in that sense. So between the feelings, the energy that's left there, and then for some of those older cemeteries, this is kind of a gross thought to think about, but we may not be able to smell the evidence of a cemetery, even 100 years later, we don't know what animals can smell and can't smell, especially something that has the kind of abilities that some of these seem to have. So these are all things that I personally think about. Like I said, I have no way of knowing how to go about testing this theory. I mean, you can't walk up and ask a dogman or a Bigfoot, hey, what about the cemeteries? Is this the reason? But that's kind of where I feel there's a good possibility that we may have, like, it as far as, like, if you want a kind of, as we would say, flesh and blood reasoning behind it. So,
but as I'm doing my research and I'm talking to other people, 8 out of times when somebody sees a dog man, it's always around water and it's always around an old cemetery. Always. 8 out of 10 stories that I talk to people about, it's always around water or cemetery.
well, I mean, in water, I mean, all life needs water.
Yeah, right. but it seems like every time they see something, it's either in the water or out of the water or near the water or something around water. It's always, you know what I mean? And where I was when I had my first, 3 encounters with this thing, it's always around the cemetery and it's always around the water because the bay, you know what I mean? The bay was there and you got the canals and, you know what I mean, little ponds that, you know what I mean, that feeds off the Delaware Bay. Yeah. And, but the reason why I believe this thing grabbed my wife, and I always say, and still to today, I don't believe it wanted to hurt my wife. I believe it wanted to piss me off. And it did a good job of that. Because for the first 2 encounters, I was a scared little kid. You know what I mean? That's how I was, a scared little kid. But when it touched my wife, something in me switched.
So as we're starting to I need to let people start processing some of this stuff that they've ingested tonight because there's been a lot. But as we're starting to round out the night, what are some final thoughts that you would like to share with us concerning the I don't know, investigate people like I gotta tell you guys, the first time you said Daryl Denton tonight and started talking about him wanting to go out at night, Daryl, I love Daryl. Daryl has no fear. He's just like, hey, let's do it. There's a burning building, let's jump on it.
Right,
It's
right.
like, and I'm going, oh,
nah.
You do you, boo. I'm gonna stay in the safe side because I'm kind of that way these days.
But you know what though? I've been ever since I shot this thing, I've been totally different. It's like I go in the woods by myself, I camp out overnight. Now I mean I like to do like a weekend camp out, you know, but I got a wife and dog, so I can only do like an overnight type of deal. But I've been going in the woods at night now, you know what I mean? And I mean I don't go empty handed, you know what I mean? And but if like different things happen to you, I think you change. You know what I mean? As a human being, you know. But
I drive in Nashville, so I already deal with enough of danger for my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really appreciate because I've been talking with other podcasters, my mods, several people over time about it. I'm always getting people encouraging me to bring people on the show and who to bring on, and we get a lot of requests over time. So I know people have been really kind of pushing you through the circuit. I imagine you sometimes go, wow, I can't even keep my head straight on where I'm going next. So I really appreciate your time tonight.
Anytime, you know.
What I would like to do, I want to find a time when I can get Daryl to come on the show. Do
like a duet.
I want to have a time when I bring Daryl on the show and have a one-on-one with him. But after that, I would really like to get him and maybe 2 or 3 other of you guys who've had these experiences on and do like a round table at somewhat. So hopefully next year that will be the thing to happen.
Because I should be, if you're talking about next year, I should be living in Tennessee by then because because I got to because I got hurt on the job about 2 years ago, and I'm finally going to get my back surgery done. So then after my back surgery, I got 8 weeks of therapy, and then from there, that's when I moved back to Tennessee because I'm building a log cabin up on my property. So
good deal.
Yeah. So I'll probably be in Tennessee when that happens. Probably, I guess. I don't know. You talk about a year, you know.
Yeah. Well, at some point next year, because we're almost at the end of the year now,
I
and
know. Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
literally booked for the rest of the year at this point. So yeah, I'm already planning I'm planning 2026 already.
That's
Right.
good.
I appreciate you. I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Oh yeah,
And
we stay in touch. You're my friend on Facebook, so
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And you know, whatever you have a question or you want to know something, or if you want me back on the show for something, or if you want me to help somebody, you know what I mean? I'm always here, man. Hey, Ashes Antics. That's my friend right there. Ashes. Yeah.
There we go. And that is the links for Pam says that the YouTube link still links to your YouTube account. So
Now, my YouTube account as my user's name,
mhm,
it'll say at Swamp Dog. Oh no. You mean at Swamp Dog Lawless or something like that. It'll say
mhm,
because if I get on a live on YouTube and I write something, it'll say Swamp Dog Lawless, like the at Swamp Dog Lawless.
mhm.
But that has nothing to do.
That's the cryptid one where there's the one.
Oh. But you're talking about the cryptid thing for the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about my YouTube channel.
No, that's the one that he needs to look at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
I'm sorry. Duh, my fault. Pam, don't shoot me.
she'll just give you the mother talk later.
Yeah,
She
I
does
know.
that to all of us.
Spank me. She's gonna spank me.
True story. All right. I'm going to close out the night
All right.
and I will talk with you soon.
Okay, yeah. Anytime, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, guys. Wow, that was I gotta tell you, every time I've even heard just been on your side watching the podcast, it's been a lot to process. Um, Swamp Dog story is one of the ones that has been uh, it's difficult, but it's also fascinating because there are aspects to it like the lack of blood that bring new insight and new bits of information for those of us who research and investigate the paranormal to dive into. So that's important, and those things uh, from a research and investigator side is very fascinating. Um, I do want you guys to again remember. Let me pop it up right quick. There is a QR code there in the corner, right there, for Magical Journey podcast. If you grab that on your phone, you can go into the podcast or not the podcast, excuse me, the webpage and find all things Magical Journey related. Once I get the channel completed, I'm going to go in. I'm going to do some major updating to the website, and it's all stuff. I'm not rebranding a third time, but it is. I do need to catch the website up to date. Do not forget you can find me on Sprinker. Sprinker. Yes. I'm sorry. Information overload tonight. That was a lot. As and I haven't even got the month started real good yet because there's a lot of good stuff coming up for this month. So you guys put on your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Lots of information coming your way. All right. take care. Have a safe weekend. It's going to be cold, so dress warmly. I will see you guys on some of the other platforms over the next few hours, and may your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. Past lives. Did we dance together on different floors in 1500 or 1504? We must have been lovers, we must have been something in our past life.